Tell me how long you've lived here.
How many years? A long bunch of them. I'm 93 years old now.
Lucinda Hale made her living back in the day picking cotton. Now her family owns a stretch of property along Gibsonville Road in Huntington, Texas. On the way to visit her, we traveled down a freshly paved road. But look where the new road abruptly ends. Right before you get to Lucinda's house and the houses where her kinfolk live. We've got no explanation why. The road through her family's property remains riddled with deep potholes.
That wasn't nothing I could do. I didn't know nothing to do. I just figured they stopped it because I was black.
In 2023, it's awfully sad that anyone would believe that race plays a role in why some roads are paved and others aren't in Angelina County. But Lucinda does.
It made me feel bad. It hurt me. I'm a lover of people, and we've always got along.
She's clearly not the only one in Angelina County complaining about the still horrible condition of the roads. Recent headlines in the local paper report roads are as bad as cracked up to be, and then some. An expensive road survey found more than 82% of the county roads are still marginal to very poor, in a county that spent more than $4 million alone on asphalt in just a couple of years. Where did it all go?
The last new road was 31 years ago.
Carol Miller lives on Johnny Street in Zavala, another portrait of road neglect. She got excited when crews paved two other side streets in her small neighborhood, Ewell and Harold. They look great now, but the paving crews never came to Johnny Street, right next door. Look at this. That $108,000 paving job so close to Carol's home was on the two streets that run in front and in back of now former County Commissioner Steve Smith's house. A new road isn't just more comfortable for the folks who live on the street, it's good for property values too.
I am not giving up. My next step will be petitions signed by neighbors and their phone calls to you.
Carol couldn't have known what we've uncovered in our continuing kicking asphalt investigation. We understand why there's so much suspicion. Look at this paved road. It ended and turned right into the driveway of an asphalt company executive. That paving job on Smith's Road, they were done illegally, without required commissioner's court approval. One county administrator got demoted, but the whole thing stunk of a potentially corrupt political payback. What do you tell the folks in your precinct that of all the roads, yours the ones that got fixed? Within a few days of that paving job around Smith's house, he had cut a deal with the district attorney to change his story about that meet and greet with Limberry and Paulette. Smith will now get immunity from prosecution in exchange for changing his story about what was talked about. Chit-chat, the former judge maintains.
We were having a conversation about raising ducks and riding tractors out on my place.
Since the blaring headlines in the Lufkin Daily News, the former county judge has twice been offered a plea deal, a slap on the wrist if he pleads guilty. Limberry refused. He's waited a year for a trial.
I want my name cleared. I have done nothing wrong. I did not do what I'm being accused of.
Limberry's criminal trial starts June 26th here at the Angelina County Courthouse and will be the first of a parade of trials in Lufkin in the coming months. It will also likely be a referendum on the conduct of District Attorney Janet Cassells.
Ranger Hicks, I'm Wayne Dolcefino. How are you?
And a spotlight on one of the East Texas Rangers facing growing criticism as a rogue ranger.
Ranger Hicks.
Accused of operating as a political tool of local DAs to exact political revenge.
You gotta follow the pin, okay? Yes, sir.
In Nacogdoches, Ranger James Hicks is accused of going after a guy who helped set up a website that exposed one of the past DWIs of the DA there. Is that what's happening in Angelina County?
Ranger Hicks, I think it's a legitimate question to ask whether you're being used by the Angelina County DA.
This ranger has really blown my trust in DPS and the Rangers, period.
We've shown you the DA has allowed financially poor inmates awaiting trial to languish in the Angelina County Jail, sometimes for years, while her office pursues these misdemeanor cases. Limbury also faces multiple misdemeanor indictments for not recording executive sessions. Again, there are questions about what the Rangers and the DA didn't do. There's no evidence the county attorney was even interviewed before the indictment was handed down. He's the one elected to tell the county judge what the rules for recording are supposed to be. Was he even called to the grand jury? No doubt in your mind this was political.
Absolutely. There was an agenda, and I was in the way.
We've long argued Janet Cassells should have immediately recused herself in these highly charged political investigations. Other county DAs do that a lot. You were a big political opponent of hers. Do you think that's why you're still in trouble?
Sure.
Ms. Cassells, how are you?
I'm well, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, why do you think it's appropriate for you to prosecute these cases? Why don't you bring someone in special to do it? Prosecutions of the Texas Open Meetings Act are rare in the state, meant to punish politicians who conspire to hold secret deliberations on government business. The Angelina County attorney has refused to make public the surveillance video at the center of this upcoming case. That's an insult to voters. The indictment was used to immediately remove an elected county judge from his office.
This case has been devastating to myself and my family.
We know the surveillance video has no audio, so what evidence did Janet Cassells have to get a local grand jury to say this was a crime? Limbury thinks what's happening is criminal injustice.
We have no comment for you.
I didn't ask you a question yet. Getting Steve Smith to change his original defense of the meeting was critical for Cassells, and that's why the pouring of asphalt on Smith Street when so many bigger roads didn't get any is, well, suspicious. But the DA has refused to investigate that. Taxpayers should wonder why.
Why his road out of 700 roads in the county? Why?
Don't you think the folks who live in that precinct have a right to know why you got paved roads and they didn't? Really? In our other investigations, like the one down in Dickinson, we've seen surveillance video like the one Angelina County is now trying to keep secret. The video is typically motion activated, jumps a lot. So who heard this alleged conspiracy unfold? The secretary for the former county judge apparently now claims she couldn't make out what the trio were talking about. So did the DA get criminal charges, ruining political careers, without a single ear witness? We shall soon see. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but getting rid of Limbury paved the way for a vote for pay raises in the DA's office. These two defendants believe the other agenda here was asphalt, and the fight over who gets to decide which roads get paved first in a place that has lots of bad roads. I want to talk about asphalt.
About what?
Asphalt.
I don't know nothing about asphalt.
Yes, he does. And it was Commissioner Terry Pitts who's been identified as the original complainer about that get-together at Limbury's office. I guess we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
No, actually, we're not. It's no secret that asphalt has always been the key to power in these rural counties. In Lufkin, Limbury appointed Smith to Commissioner's Court, knowing he'd be the final vote for a needed majority to honor the will of the voters, create a road boss position. An engineer instead of elected politicians who, let's face it, appear to do favors. Paulette is not the only one who believes he was targeted because of his support for the new road system. That engineer, Chuck Walker, and his number two, they got indicted on alleged timesheet cheating, again by the DA, again on accusations from Terry Pitts, but not before Walker had discovered Commissioner Pitts had spent all the money but paved only half the roads he said he could for the money. Maybe Pitts just sucks at math, but Flournoy calls it corruption. He complained to the Rangers. In just a few weeks, the Ranger declared, "Nothing to see here."
I laughed. I mean, how do you measure and figure out thousands and thousands of tons of material without measuring it, without looking at it, physically going after it?
Flournoy wasn't even interviewed. The Rangers won't tell us who was and why. But if it was just Terry Pitts, then that investigation is tainted. Is your son friend with the Rangers? There are complaints the local Rangers are conflicted, friends with Pitt's son, a DPS trooper. But it's beginning to look like you guys are trying to cover up the reality that roads seem to be going, paved roads seem to be going to people in power. We've been watchdogging the Angelina County roads for a while, and Bob Flournoy is right. The asphalt numbers just simply don't add up. But we've waited to see what happened. The Angelina County auditor has never bothered to find out why. We've called for an asphalt forensic audit. The county judge hasn't done one. We've already shown you disturbing evidence that the cost and quantity of asphalt used to pave a single mile of road in this county of 700 miles varies widely by precinct. It really shouldn't. It opens the door for diverting asphalt improperly.
This is my county. I love this county. Been here all my life.
There is likely no one that has spent more time looking up the Angelina asphalt records than former Lufkin City Attorney Bob Flournoy. This report, released by an Angelina County watchdog group, claims about half the asphalt bought with $6 million in borrowed tax money did not go on the 155 miles of road that was promised. Quoting, they never worried about transparency because they thought that the taxpayers were too dumb and apathetic to find out. They guaranteed our ignorance by not maintaining any credible records. You believe they were created to cover up the truth?
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
That's why it's time for a real investigation in Angelina County. The Rangers won't do it, the DA won't do it, but the folks who live on all these crappy roads deserve it. Folks like Brandy Durham.
I feel like we need to see an audit of everything.
You think people should be outraged about what's going on?
Absolutely.
And Carol Miller.
I am here asking for your help. What can you do for me?
And don't forget 93-year-old Lucinda Hale on Gibsonville Road. And it's sad in 2023 that
my road is in the shape it's in. It's bad.